Hello and welcome back to The Verdict. Today we will be rounding out our third part of our Verdict Halloween special. So make sure to stay tuned with us after this. Welcome to The Verdict. I'm your host, Clark, and today I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts.
I'm Rashawn.
And Kai.
And today we're going to be talking about some new horror movies that came out within the past year or two. My movie that I'll be talking about is Talk to Me. And this movie stars Sophie Wilde, Joe Bird, and Zoe Terakis. Let's play the trailer.
I'll do it.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay. Light the candle to open the door. Blow it out to close it.
So that was Talk to Me. This is one of my favorite movies of this year. Not even just horror, just altogether. What did you guys think about it?
I liked it. When I first saw it, I didn't think of it being an R-rated movie. Like I don't see the reason for it being R-rated. I do love all the acting in the movie. I thought the montage scene was really cool. I literally pulled out my phone. I know it's a film taboo. I know I'm not supposed to do it. I pulled out my phone just to Shazam the song in it because it was just so catchy. But overall, I liked the film. I liked the story, and I can't wait to see what's next for it.
Oh, definitely.
And the movie, it really stood out to me because, like you said, it didn't feel like no R-rated movie. And it was like, okay, this is different from any other horror films. And like you said, I love the theme on it. The theme on it was, but overall, I think it was a good movie. And I feel like that it really stood out towards everything else, every movie that's scary.
That's true. I think it definitely stood out. I don't think it needed to lean too hard into the R-rated side because I think the concept alone I think it's a very relatable premise because, most people, we've had people that we've lost and we like that chance to talk to them one last time, but this takes that and puts a sick twist on it, which was enough for me. But yeah, I thought that was incredible. I thought the hand was so interesting. I actually kind of saw the hand as partially as an allegory for drugs and peer pressure amongst teens. But at the same time, I also thought that, and I don't know if this was just me, I thought it was kind of like a direct callback to do you remember the Charlie challenge?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like the supernatural games that you just should not touch whatsoever. That's what it reminded me of.
I honestly liked the ending. I thought it was a twist kind of because I thought she was actually gonna do it. But I don't know. I feel like she still could have done it. She still should have probably did it for the best. I feel like that would have been the best way to save the kid. I don't know. I don't know.
That's certainly a hot take.
It is, but
well, hey.
I will have to admit, do you guys know that this is Raka Raka, the YouTube channel? This is their first actual film.
Yes, I was a little familiar with the history about that. I was very surprised to see how some YouTubers managed to make a film that looked this good.
Well, it's not that surprising anymore, considering Everything Everywhere All at Once. They were made. That movie was made by YouTubers originally.
Fair enough.
It really, I'm trying to find the words here, but it's actually really cool now to see a lot of these YouTubers going out and producing films. Markiplier's making a movie on Iron Lung, and so and it's actually pretty cool. We're living in an age now where simple content creators, whether in animation, gaming, or whatever, they are going out and actually making their own films, and I think that's really cool. It's something really I admire.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a very inspiring story too. The fact that they made this independently, and after it premiered at a festival, they bought it off, and it ended up making 10 times their budget back, which was definitely a smart move by A24. And because of that, they've already announced the sequel, which I am so excited for. But, as for this movie, what do you think what did they do differently than most horror films, would you say?
I'd say it's not as bloody as most horror films nowadays.
Fair.
I feel like, the suspense was more of a suspense than just like the serial killing and the blood, like you said, the blood and just like the suspense. It made you like think. It made you like think and wonder, and it was like that what really made it interesting more than any other scary movies, because like everybody knows like the same old. It's like like Chucky, for example, like it's just the same thing. But this one, it really gave you suspense and made you think. So that's the part that I really liked about the movie.
Oh,
And-
definitely.
Just say that's actually a good take, because like I also was thinking of when I first watched this movie. After I got done watching it, I was getting a lot of Smile vibes from it. Remember that movie that
I can
came
see
out?
that. Yeah, I can
beforehand?
see that.
I can see that too.
The only exception is there's not really a monster per se in this movie, and that's kind of what I like. There's not a per se monster, because when I saw the monster and smiled, I was immediately like, before the monster, I was terrified. I was I was like jumping at all the jump scares. After I saw the monster, I was like, oh, okay, not that bad. I don't know. I think Talk to Me just builds a little bit more suspense. It's not that scary in my opinion, but it builds more suspense than kind of Smile did. So.
True. It's different in that way. One thing I liked about it was that I kind of liked how the protagonist, Mia, kind of went through like a corruption arc, you might say.
Yeah.
A lot of times in horror movies, like your main character is just kind of like helpless, something tragic happens to them, they get stuck in this situation, but all of her motivations in this film were like driven by her own, need to talk to her mom again and kind of get that closure. And I was actually going to lead that into my next question. Do you think her actions, for the most part, were affected by her desire to talk to her mom again, or maybe influenced by the fact that she went over 90 seconds and maybe the demons were kind of making those decisions for her?
I'd say it's a mix of both. For the most part, I want to say it was her desire, because she just recently lost her mom,
True.
So I think it was her desire to want to see her mom again. Anyone suffering like through that, obviously they're gonna want to see that loved one again, no matter what the cost. You look at any other like TV or film where someone just lost a loved one and they want to see them again. Watch Castlevania, last season of that. Someone was trying to see their loved one again, and it's understandable. So
Definitely. Well, with the announcement of a sequel to this movie, do you think it's potentially too soon to call this the next classic horror franchise? Because, I think they could definitely do a lot with the sequel, kind of going into like a new cast or into the origin of the hand. What would you think about that?
it's too close to say. I don't know yet. I want to say maybe. It's got potential. It definitely has potential.
Well, I was trying to piggyback off what you said. It got potential, but even the classic movies, they even made more than one of them, because it's like if you really want to make it into a movie that's best top tier, it is top tier, and like you said, it has potential, but it's just you got to keep making it interesting for the audience. That's what it makes it you got to make them reel it. It's kind of like fishing, kind of. If you reel it in, you got to go slow with it, and then somebody will grab his attention. It's okay, now I get it. So I really feel like it can be, but it just got to have more potential.
Yeah, they can't get too comfortable. They can't really ride off the success off the first one too much. They still have to kind of
got to
close
continue
it
it going.
Well,
But
with that being
overall,
said, what would you guys rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
I give it an 8. Solid 8. It's got a few issues, but it's good.
I was gonna say 8.5 just because of suspense, like I said. So that's the only reason why I like it.
Okay.
Because you took my answer. I wanted to say 8.
My bad.
I'd say I'd give this one a really, really strong 9. It definitely had some predictable, horror tropes, but you can't give them too much slack for as being like their film debut. Still incredible. But well, moving on to our next movie, we're going to be talking with Rashawn.
The movie I'll be discussing next is going to be Megan. This movie stars Violet McGraw, Allison Williams, and Jenna Davis as Megan herself. So let's watch that trailer.
I have this project at work. Do you want to see?
Yes.
Ever since I was little, I dreamed of this perfect toy that would protect a kid from ever feeling lonely or sad. This is Megan.
Hi, Megan. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
Megan, your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional.
So, you both know me. I love killer doll movies. I grew up watching Chucky and all that stuff. We talked about it last week, but Slappy's not considered a killer. So I want to ask you guys, what sets this movie apart from other killer dolls like Chucky? Like, what do you guys think?
I think this one was pretty interesting because it's not like a cursed doll like Chucky. Megan was created by Gemma, Katie's niece, aunt, to kind of help make Katie feel better after the loss of her parents. But, programming went wrong, she turned evil. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It was definitely a different change of pace from what we would expect from those kind of movies. More realistic, in my opinion.
I liked it. It was like, it's not like, I don't like no dolls like Chucky because, everybody want to do the same thing like Chucky did, but it's like, Chucky is different from everything else. And I liked it because, like you said, it was just programming went wrong, like majority of stuff. So it's like, it's like different from everything else, like Annabelle and all of them. Like I give it solid. It's like the scenes and some of the twists, just really made it interesting, made me want to watch it more.
Gotcha. I would say I loved everybody's performance in it. I saw this movie 4 times in theaters. I ran out of my free tickets after the 3rd time, so I paid to watch it for the 4th time.
Wow.
And it was still worth it because, listen, some of the stuff in here is ridiculous. I will say there is one character who doesn't really hit it for me. It's Jenna's boss. What's his name? I don't know. I don't remember the performer's name. But I think he wasn't the right pick for this movie. Just because I feel like he could have been somebody else. But I say Jenna Davis as Megan, though, perfect. She was perfect in every sense of the word. I loved her performance. I loved it when she did the little dance.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the dance.
Literally walking out of the theater, I was doing the dance to my friends, doing the cartwheel and everything. But what do you guys expect out of the sequel? Because obviously we're going to get another one from this. They set it up and they've already announced we're getting like 2 more movies actually, not just a sequel. So yeah.
Really pushing the gun, huh?
And really.
Blumhouse knows what they're doing with their horror films. Five Nights at Freddy's comes out, this week, and they're already getting 2 sequels. Let's go.
Definitely put a lot of stock into that. But as for Megan, obviously we can expect her to come back. That some part of her software is probably floating out there somewhere, and I imagine she's waiting to come back and get revenge on Gemma, and maybe even Katie for destroying her at the end of the movie. So that could be interesting.
Like it's gonna be that one person that's just gonna try to fix her up. I don't know why. I just have that feeling.
Well, it's always like that in
the movie,
not just doll horror movies, just any sentient being or a car horror, Christine or whatever. Someone always tries to fix up a car, or not car, but fix up the old broken down thing.
Yeah.
Remember in Child's Play 2?
Yes.
They fixed up Chucky. They didn't know he was possessed, but they still fixed the doll up and stuff like that. No, wait, that's not 2. That's 3. Yeah. They fixed him up in 3, and it's just I don't know. They always want to fix. They always say, "Oh, it wasn't broken." They just played with it too hard. It's just a broken.
Just
Barbie.
a wear and tear, and it's and I wanted to piggyback off what you said. Every time, it's just that one person that be like, "Oh, I found this new doll, and this doll looks lovely," and then they just try to fix it up, and then next thing you know, they be like, "Man, why is this doing this?" And then it's come on now. But I feel that's what's gonna happen. you know, to the next sequel. I don't know why. I just feel like that because when I was watching it, it just gave me that vibe. I don't know why.
Well, let me guys ask you this. You know there is an R-rated version of the movie. Have you guys seen it?
No, I thought the original was R-rated.
No. The original is actually PG-13, and on Peacock there is an R-rated version of the film. I watched both versions. I watched the PG-13 version in theaters like 4 times, and then I watched the R-rated version just for this. Honestly, there is not that much of a difference between the R-rated version and this, because all it is for the R-rated version is you just get to see the blood. And with that, I personally don't think there needed to be an R-rated version if you're just going to add in blood splots. So, I mean, if you want to do an R-rated version for the sequel, sure. But I feel like for R-rated movies, and this goes back to Talk to Me as well, if you're going to do an R-rated movie, then you got to at least, like, have to, like, make it actually R-rated. Like, have enough blood in for it. Have some, not a lot of swearing or sex scenes, but, like, at least have blood. You know, if it's a horror movie, at least have some like gory, not super gory, but like suspenseful.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a staple. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Because I feel like if you're making these movies R-rated, then you're kind of restricting on younger kids, like no one's 17 or younger, to come and watch said movie. They can't watch it for themselves and get their like first experience watching a horror film. And I like that Megan does this. It's a PG-13 horror film, sort of, kind of, that younger kids can kind of like and enjoy. Now, I didn't find it scary. I was cracking up, especially when Katie, you know, pimp slapped.
Oh,
Shut
yeah.
up.
Oh, my God.
I went over to my friend and I was like, now you know she wouldn't have done that if her mom was black. But yeah, I just feel like we need a little bit more of PG-13 horror films. I think Megan does pave the way for that in a sense. And leading off to that, where does this film rank you guys? Well, rank alongside the other horror films for you guys. You know, do you think this is pretty good for what we got this year, or?
Yeah, in terms of what's come out this year, it was actually very pleasantly surprising. You know, I enjoyed my experience. I didn't watch it 5 times, but I did think it was really fun, and it wasn't up there with Talk to Me for me or some of the other better horror movies this year, but it was nowhere near the bottom. So I was happy with it.
I was about to say, I give it like his average, but I give it like a little bit of more of Talk to Me. I know, me being me, but I just liked it because, like you said, the suspense, and like if it was the R-rated, if I would have watched the R-rated like you, I would have liked it even more.
Sure.
I get that, yeah.
Because like I said, it's a thriller, like it's like a horror, so.
Now, you know me,
Oh,
I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, but
gosh.
even though I will admit it has like a problem or two, I still got to give it a 10 out of 10. I will still watch it over again. I'll watch it 10 more times. I don't care.
All right, fair enough. We'll continue with the ratings. What would you give it, Kai?
I give it like an 8. You know, that's just me being me. Cause like you said, it had a little bit of problems, but it's just like at the same time, overall was good. It was good. I couldn't complain.
Yeah, I give it like a 7, 7.5 on a good day. You know, I don't have many complaints with it, but it didn't stand out as much as I thought it could have. But really, at the end of the day, I had a good time. So, with that being said, we're gonna move to Kai with his movie.
Well, the movie that I'll be talking about is Orphan First Kill. The movie stars Isabel Fuhrman, Julia Stiles, and Rosa Sutherland. Let's play the trailer.
4 years is a long time. What she needs right now is her family.
Esther? Sweetheart, it's Mommy. Welcome home, Esther. We left it just as it was.
It's lovely to be back. I miss my family very much.
Our goal here is helping Esther acclimate back into life within the family unit.
Sorry.
So, what is the scary aspect of this movie for y'all? Like, I just have to ask, because, you know, I'm...
Definitely the beginning part where she gets out of the facility.
I know what you're talking about. That was
It creeped me out the way she was just like, okay, daddy. I'm just like, bro, chill. Like, and then she's controlling all the other like people in the facility with giving them candy. I didn't like, dude.
I don't think I would accept that candy. I don't know, because like she
probably poisoned it.
Man, like.
No, yeah.
it was like a Jekyll and Hyde for me, cause like it was like 1 minute she was just fine, and then like next minute like if she don't get her way, like she flips, and that's what made me whew, like that just made me had like a deep whew in my chest. So like and the eerie, like the orphanage, like the eerie, it's like all of that was just like whoa.
Yeah,
totally.
So,
I thought it was really disturbing, just the idea of like a grown woman kind of like placing herself into this family in the role of a missing child, which like, and I feel like the family only really believed it for as long as they did because they wanted to, you know, that type of situation, or at least the dad. But yeah, I didn't realize until I watched this movie what really sold it for me, what made it like that extra bit of disturbing was that, you know, Esther's condition is actually a real thing.
Yes.
Which I had no clue. I don't know what I thought. Maybe that was just like a trope for the movie, but that was very interesting to like kind of do my research on afterwards. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. I honestly, Esther's performance in the entire film, I liked. I would say I do like the first one a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't help it. I do too.
The
first one you can't beat, but it's just like giving you the more details of like before she moved into another orphanage. So that's part of where I liked about it, more in detail. But everything else, it was like, it was good, but it could have been a little better.
I do like how you get to see more of her paintings and more of her drawings in this one, because I really did like all the art that she did make for the film. I liked to see the origin of the stuff, the things around her neck and her arms, like to hide the slitting of the wrist and all the restraints and all that stuff. It was very nice to see all that. I will say there are bits of this movie where I'm looking at her and I'm like, come on now, you know that's not a kid. We can all see it. She don't look no younger than like 22 or 23. Come on.
When you're in Russia for 4 years, it does a lot to you. It puts a lot of stress on you.
Yeah. I'm just like, come on. But going back to what you said about like especially the dad wanting to believe it. Why is the dad in these movies? The dad in the first one like didn't even care too much until she started like literally hitting on him, trying to like get him to sleep with her, do whatever. And then in this one, I'm just like, listen, I know men are stupid, but come on.
No, that's a different subject. That right there, like, I think he would have got it if, like, you know, she would have done the signs, like, you know, while he was there. Because if you know this, like, throughout the whole time, like, the dads were gone, but they coming back. It's more like a come and go. And he never really, like, sat down and thought about, like, you do look older than what you are, but he never really noticed it. So it's like once you finally noticed it when she was hitting on him, it's just like, wait a minute. Like, you do realize, like, I'm way older than you. Like, it's just one of them moments that makes you be like,
very
come on now.
Strange direction.
Yeah. So.
And at the end, when she kind of like confessed her love, like when the house was burning down, she said like, I did it all for you. And it's like, until 5 seconds ago, you know, he thought you were his daughter. I don't know what you're expecting, but what do I know?
So
they're all crazy in their own way.
So just piggybacking off of what we saying about the plot and twist. So like, what was your first reaction to the plot and twist of like the mother and the like son being evil?
I was very confused at first when she came and helped like get rid of that cop. I thought it was a very interesting and unpredictable way to go because, like I said, you know, there's no way Esther was going to keep up that charade the whole time. And so I thought it was kind of interesting how, like, once they moved into that third act, they almost started working together, which
that was scary though.
It was very out of left field for me, but I was kind of on board with it.
It threw me off a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, so they're cool. Listen, a family that does crime is always a family you know you can trust. I'm just saying, listen. If we've learned anything from the past couple of years about crime families, you can kind of trust them for the most part.
Sometimes.
For the most part. I don't know too much about it. But I actually wanted to, when we were originally picking out the films for this week's show, you were excited to do Or for First Kill, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. What did you think the fact that like this didn't really do too well in the box office? Like it didn't really. Not a lot of people came to see it, and then it was streaming on not Peacock, but Paramount, and it also just wasn't doing too well.
And like that's the thing, like, and you know, I was bragging about this movie. I was dead on 100% on this movie. But when I got into it, it was like I liked about it because it was more in detail. And like I said, the detail was phenomenal. Like, and you can agree with me on that. But it's like when you try to make it seem like it's the first one, the very first one, nobody can beat the first one, of course. But it was like, at least try to make it seem like it's coming in close second. But it wasn't. It was like not even my top 10 now. Like, it was like really disappointing in me. Cause like, it did hurt my feelings. Well, but it made it work like towards the end. Like you said, towards the end and towards the beginning. But like in the middle, it was like, it could have been more.
Gotcha.
It could have been a little bit more so it can be like, just like that. So that's how I felt about it at first. But now it's just like, like it was just hurting my heart more and more. The more I was watching it, I was just like, oh my God.
It'll all be good. But honestly, I'm sorry about this, but I gotta give it like a 6 out of 10, man. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you because like I'm giving it a 7 because it was like I want to give it an 8 so bad, and like I would give it a 10 out of 10, but it's like it messed up a little during like the sequel, so I'll say a 7.
Listen, your girl ain't no Megan.
I don't know about that. She's a little crazy.
Well, I guess for my review, I think I'm just going to join you. I think I'll just say it's like a 6.
6, yeah.
It was pretty entertaining to kind of see where it went, but overall, the whole package, it wasn't like the original, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that concludes our Verdict Halloween special. I want to thank the audience for joining us these past 3 weeks, and make sure you join us next week into the first week of November. We'll see you then.